These days, car companies make the most of what they've got. Ford Fiesta chassis was the basis for the Puma and Car. Audi and Volkswagen share floor plans. And Fiat, determined to make the most of their Bravo Brava project, which won Car of the Year in 1996, took the floor plan and built upon it the big award winner for 1998. This week, Carfile salutes the astonishing Alfa Romeo 156. Of course, the real Alfa Romeo fans might say that the best cars ever produced by the company were those post-war, when the famous cross and serpent logo was seen on some of the best cars around the world. I think it can be fairly said that the company lost its way during the 70s and 80s, but what a huge resurgence Alfa Romeo have done, especially with the award-winning 156, which, under the Fiat Group's charismatic leadership of Paolo Cantarello, has not only seen the 156 impress the Fiat board, but the whole of Europe. The jury for the Car of the Year Award 1998 was made up of 56 specialist journalists from the 21 European countries. To qualify for the competition, the new cars had to have been on sale in at least 5 different European countries during the previous year. Design, comfort, safety, running costs, drivability, performance, practicality, environment-friendly features, price and resale value are all judging criteria. 5 models were chosen from all the new cars on the market, which go through to the final selection process. Each member of the jury awards points to at least 4 of the 5 models in the final, with a maximum of 15 points for his or her first choice. So, for the 1998 classification, in 5th place for the Car of the Year, Citroën Zara, 204 points. In 4th position, the revolutionary Mercedes A-Class, 211 points. Audi A6 in 3rd position with 265. Just 1 point ahead, the Volkswagen Golf in 2nd position with 266. Many people thought that would win, but a clear leader with 454 points, the Alfa Romeo 156. But what does winning the Car of the Year mean for the people whose job is to sell the Alfa 156 in the UK?
It was very important in that it's really another string to the 156's bow. The Car of the Year is a great accolade because it's independent and it's across the board of very many journalists in Europe, and it won it absolutely hands down. So that the fact that it got almost twice as many votes as the nearest competitor was fantastic for us. But it wasn't the be-all and end-all of the 156's acclaim, because it's been acclaimed just about, well, I can't think of anywhere that it hasn't been acclaimed. The 156 combines speed, handling, which is fantastic, but also flexibility, as great ride comfort and quality of ride, and also a very, very beautiful shape and a superb ergonomic but yet attractive interior, and the level of quality on the car is just well, superb.
The Alfa Romeo has come at just the right time to rejuvenate the fortunes of the company. And just looking at the car gives you pleasure. There are design cues at the front which remind you of some of the great Alfas from the pre-war period. And the rest of the styling is absolutely superb. Curves and creases that are very modern, yet somehow timeless. And I think a magnificent achievement from the design team of Walter de Silva.
With the Alfa 156, we have succeeded in putting traditional Alfa sportiness features into the body of a saloon of quite an extraordinary elegance. In the front, side and rear, we find elements that are instantly recognizable and which make this new car a real Alfa Romeo. The Alfa 156 is the outcome of a skillfully refined design project. The shield from which the trademark emerges, the grooved bonnet, the side profile. The line is light, with the wedge shape just hinted at, as if by a pencil stroke. And the line ends in a drop-shaped rear window that rests on the tails where the lights seem to have been set like gems.
Now, when a new car comes out, the problem is how to advertise it. What sort of image is it going to have? Vittorio Rava, Alfa's advertising boss, got all the board together one day, closed the curtains and switched on a projector. And this is what they saw. It was so cold in 1929 that Venice froze over. Vittorio asked a question: where does one need most control over a car? The answer? On ice. And which is the most Italian of cities? The answer? Venice. Now, even the best advertising agency in the world with massive resources can't ask all the people of Venice to leave their homes and ask God to freeze over the canals to show the Alfa 156 driving on ice. So they did the next best thing. They went up to Rome, to Cine City, and the production company rebuilt a full-scale model of Venice for the TV commercial.
I have to say that I love directing, call it my passion, especially when I'm working with cars. They're much easier to control than actors, and this one is a real success. I must take it out for a run when this is all over. What I like about my work are the colours, the shapes, colour that defines form, finding a balance in the things I do, in the things I see. I've driven cars everywhere, in all kinds of situations, including on ice, but I could never have imagined I would find myself having to drive on ice in Venice. The interior roominess is the outcome of a rational exploitation of external dimensions and of the optimal relationship between masses. The fully adjustable seats have a sporting setup and offer an ideal personalized position for passengers of all shapes and sizes. Comfort is paramount in all conditions. The climate control unit is automatic and keeps the interior temperature constant. Great attention has also been paid to the personal microclimate, and each passenger can select how much air he wants and the direction he wants it to go in.
The Alfa team are rightly proud of their creation, and all in all, the Alfa Romeo 156 is deserving of the Car of the Year accolade, which can be appreciated on many levels. But can it really be a match for the mighty new BMW 3 Series? Ian Royle will be taking the 156 out on the road in part 2 of Car File.
Now, every year, Europe's motoring journalists get together to vote on their Car of the Year. And in the past, they've come up with some quite frankly amazing decisions. In 1979, the Chrysler Horizon was voted top car. And in 1975, the Simca came out on top. Even last year, there was controversy when the Renault Megane Scenic was voted top car over the likes of the Jaguar XK8, the Porsche Boxster, the 5 Series and the SLK. Well, this year, they've come up with a cracking decision, and it's this, the brand new Alfa Romeo 156. And this is our first chance here in Spain to look at and drive the car of the year. What the designers of the 156 have come up with here is a saloon that almost looks like a coupe. A quick first glance and you think, well, are there any rear doors on it? And how do you open them? Well, there are, and the handles are here. How about that for a neat idea? Absolutely fantastic. And there are pin-sharp spotlights recessed into the front spoiler as well, which give a fantastic beam. And also these alloy wheels remind me of the telephone dial alloys that we saw on the Porsche 928 many years ago. What Alfa Romeo have done here with the 156 is go head-to-head against BMW's 3 Series, and they've come up with a winner against the current 3 Series shape. Now, whether that remains to be seen after the new 3 Series arrives this summer, well, we'll have to wait and see.
Alfa Romeo's image was born out of and grew as a result of the appeal of its sport saloons. And with the Alfa 156, this heritage is enhanced by all those practical and reassuring values that are a feature of 21st century cars. It is new all over. It takes you into a new Alfa Romeo world where sportiness and motoring excellence coincide with the pleasure of comfort and the taste for driving in total safety.
The engines in the Alfa range are real beauties, they're absolute goers. They get a choice of 3, a 1.8 litre and 2 litre, the twin spark 4 cylinders, and the 2.5 litre V6. The car I'm in at the moment is the 2 litre twin spark, and it's an absolute beauty. But if you're a real fan of that 2.5, the V6 engine note, then that must be the car for you.
The Alfa 156 offers a range of uncompromising engines, powerful and flexible in all capacities and in all versions. The engineering of the 4-cylinder twin sparks are the best that modern technology has to offer. 4 valves, twin spark ignition, variable valve timing, and finally, the new generation variable geometry intake system. And topping the range, we have a 6-cylinder 2.5 litre offering 190 brake horsepower with a 6-speed gearbox. The diesels also confirm an engine superiority that is typically Italian, but particularly Alfa. The 4-cylinder 1.9 litre and the 5-cylinder 2.4 litre offer Unijet electronic injection for the first time to generate performance worthy of an outstanding petrol engine.
That's a fantastic view of the Costa del Sol, and how about this for a drop-dead gorgeous shape? This car would not be seen out of place on the catwalks of a top Italian fashion house. Now, the design of the 156 was in-house, led by Walter de Silva and his team, and what they've come up with here is a beautifully shaped car. The curves and everything about it just looks fantastic. It's a touch of modernism with some grace and some elegancy as well. And this shield on the front is absolutely fantastic. You want to pull it off, strap it onto your arm and go into battle. It's very reminiscent of some of Alfa's great pre-war cars. Now, Alfa have decided to price the 156 very aggressively. The 1.8 litre twin spark starts at £17,500, the 2 litre at just under 20, and £22,500 for the 2.5 litre V6. Every car comes with a reasonable specification, including a sunroof, steel wheels, electric windows and an alarm immobiliser. But the options list is also fairly long, and you do have to pay for extras like air conditioning on the 1.8 litre. The suspension is supple rather than firm, and in my opinion the steering could be with being a little bit more precise. There's a tendency to oversteer on some tight corners. Now, the 156 is based rather loosely on its Italian cousin, the Fiat Bravo, although it's much modified from that. It has a wishbone front suspension and a lengthened wheelbase to accommodate the 2.5 litre V6. Now, Peter, how important do you think it was to win the Car of the Year for the 156?
We were absolutely delighted, very honoured to win it. We do take Car of the Year as a very serious and important accolade, and obviously it has a knock-on effect on potential customers, because they can see that from that it's not just their opinion, but their opinion is backed up by people who are really in the know. So yes, it was an important point for us, and the fact that Alfa Romeo has never won it before just added to the icing, should we say.
And for a non-mainstream car, it's really quite an achievement. Or would you say really that the 156 is the most mainstream Alfa ever?
Well, this begs the question: what is a mainstream car, doesn't it? In terms of mass manufacturers, obviously Alfa Romeo and its models will always remain a niche brand, with very sporting overtones, sporting elegance, and so on. But I would have to agree with you that 156 has been designed to be built in comparatively large numbers by Alfa Romeo standards, and I would emphasise by Alfa Romeo standards. I mean, the factory is currently gearing up to build 156 at a rate of over 100,000 per annum. Now, that's not very much by mainstream manufacturer standards, but by Alfa standards, yes, that's a considerable volume.
What about the concern that some people have with the amount of Alfa dealerships around the country? Is that something that's going to be addressed?
Well, to some extent, it actually has been addressed already, and we're continuing to work on that. We have something like 85 Alfa Romeo dealers throughout the UK at the moment, and this has risen consistently over the last 3 years from a very low base of around 40. So we've more or less doubled the size of the Alfa Romeo dealer network in 3 years.
Now, the interior in the 156 perhaps takes a little bit of getting used to. The sports seats in this particular model are very supportive, and you get this extra cushion for the thighs as well, which is easy just to move in and out. One thing I don't like is this carbon fibre look around the centre console here. It is very cheap and plasticky. You could have the option of wood, but it's a similar sort of look, to be honest. The binnacles for the speedometer and the rev counter, those are rather quaint, but this ventilation system here looks like it was stuck on as an afterthought. Now, there's no doubt that Alfa Romeo have had its problems in the past few years. They've been through some lean times, and there's perhaps a perception, particularly in Britain, that finding a new Alfa Romeo and getting it serviced regularly is a problem. That's not the case. There are plenty of dealers around the UK for you to go to. But what Alfa Romeo have come up here with the new 156, and remember, European Car of the Year, it's a car that's going to take on those German competitors with ease and keep the Alfa flag flying for many years to come.
All the accolades for the 156 may seem strange to you if you've experienced horrendous reliability problems with older Alfa models, or if you have a sad rusting Alfa Sud in your garage.
But the funny thing about it is there's so many rusting Sud owners come out of the woodwork, and they come in and talk to me about their Alfa Suds, and they never complain about them, which is the odd thing, because at the time Alfa was owned by the government, was going through a bad time, similar to British Leyland in our country. It was more a burden on the government than anything. So those cars were remarkably good, considering they had to build them out of basically cheap East German steel, and the quality wasn't very good. But people come in and say, yes, it fell to bits, but it was a superb car, which is pretty odd, I must admit. But you know, these cars, all the Alfas have had galvanised steel for some years, and we get even old 164s, G-plate ones coming in with no rust on. So that, you know, is quite an old thing, is the rust, but people, you know, sometimes may mention it, but it's really is dead and buried. But the level of the quality on the 156 is superb and better than probably, you know, even we expected it to be.
Tell me how buying a 156 is more than just buying a car. It's sort of getting ownership of an exclusive club in a way.
We like to think it is. I mean, it's almost the first point of contact is the purchase of the car. A lot of my customers I've become very friendly with, and you know, you count them really like as mates rather than as customers. We tend to run here events for customers such as gliding days. You can go up, have a flight in a glider if you dare. I did, and it was a bit of an experience, but also drive all the cars in the range, and it helps to tie you into the whole experience of Alfa, that it's, you know, buying cars should be fun and owning them should be fun.
Finally, if you're into facts, figures and trivia, eyes down for a full house. 800 billion lira were invested in design and development of this car. 125 prototypes and full-size models were built. 400 road-going experimental cars were built. 6 million kilometers were covered in testing. 120,000 cars per year is the planned production output. 500 cars is the planned daily production rate. 35 months was the time to market from styling model stage, and 7,600 people work at the factory where the 156 is produced. But the most important figure of them all, 156, and after a period of product unreliability and poor longevity, one that will add up to a bright and secure future for the Alfa Romeo company.